Hind Deer Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Hind Deer Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Yalla habibi, mashallah habibti, yalla.
All right. Hello,
We're
everyone.
live.
We're live. Welcome to Hind Deer Podcast episode today. This is Hind Deer with you and Brandon Snell.
Mahaba.
Marhaba. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I got to talk into my mic.
Yeah. So welcome everyone to this episode. If you need to call us, we have our phone number 614-332-2811. We're going to put that on Instagram as well. This episode is going to be in English. I'm sorry for my Arabic speakers. We're not going to do it in Arabic. And today's episode is going to be about being gay in the Middle East or in the West or both?
Both.
Both.
Being gay in the Middle East versus
East
being gay in the
In
West.
the West. Okay. Got it.
It seems like a interesting topic.
Yeah.
So actually, here's the outline of today. So first, Hind did some new stand-up routines last night. So we're going to go over her stand-up comedy. Then we'll discuss the topic, which is being gay in the Middle East versus in the West. Then we will talk about some current events, especially what's going on right now with Gaza and Trump and everything. Then we'll go over some recent projects we just did, talk about upcoming projects, and then we'll watch a few Hind Deer Real Picks, and that will wrap it up.
Yeah, it's some exciting episode. I know that you have been preparing for this episode all day yesterday, so it must be a lot of things, a lot of interesting information. I think you prepared for us some videos about in the 80s and the 90s, how people viewed gay in the West differently than today. Actually, I've been hearing some of your videos, and it sounded to me like the Middle East.
The older videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I know a lot of people look at the West and they think like, oh, you guys have all these genders and you guys are open. You have no like sexual boundaries or something. I don't know how you guys say it, but the truth is that society just evolves, and that evolution occurred within my lifetime, so I understand it well. So when you guys talk about gay people or being gay, a lot of the things you say, for example, people in the Middle East may think if their child turns out to be gay, it was a problem with parenting, or the child was molested. Something is wrong with the child. They think they can correct it. And then the thing is, we went through all these questions as a society. So, and again, not everyone agrees with me. Not everyone agrees with you. There's different ways of looking at it. But in general, the society's opinion in the West of being gay has shifted, and it's way more accepting of gay people now than it used to be. And I'll just walk you through kind of how that came to be.
Okay, let me challenge you here. Don't you think, babe, some of that shifting is not really society? It's some secret conspiracy shit going on to reduce the number of people, and that's a good way to do that, to embrace gay, embrace trans, and embrace asexuality and stuff like that.
I think you believe that. I don't, but it's okay if you think it's I know you're kind of more into conspiracies than I am.
Yeah, but don't you think people that believe in that there's some truth to it?
As far as is there some like evil cabal in the background trying to reduce human population?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Satan.
Okay. I mean, why would Satan want fewer people?
That's his plan.
Why?
His plan is to destroy the planet Earth, destroy humankind. That's what Satan is about. It's about anti-human.
I mean, I think if you had less humans, you would destroy the world slower. I mean, the world's being destroyed right now with all the human and pollution and overpopulation. If you wanted to destroy the world, you would add more people.
That's Satan's plan too.
Okay. Well,
All right. What do you have?
first let's
Do you want to talk about the stand-up comedy?
yeah, so last night he did some new stand-up routines, so we're gonna check those out real fast. Let's see here.
We got one viewer on Instagram. Thank you, one viewer. We appreciate it. And we got 3 viewers on YouTube. Hussein says, I speak Arabic. I'm not understanding anything.
We're sorry.
We're sorry.
I try to be a cool immigrant, and tonight I'm using potato. Got any Trump fans here? Yay! Okay, I'm still learning the culture. I'm just trying to avoid being deported. Love you, Trump. I'm still on the fence with Trump. Not sure whether to love him or hate him. On one hand, I admire his resilience. Like, holy shit, I've never seen something like that. He's unstoppable and bulletproof. He has magical ears. On the other hand, I'm a Semite who's against genocide, or as they call it, anti-Semitic. Potato. How did I do? You guys hear the latest news on Gaza? Laugh, guys, it's a comedy club. So Netanyahu leveled Gaza, and now Trump wants to turn it into a ethnically cleansed resort. They break it, we bite. Potato. Do you know how to confuse an American? Listen up. Mount Everest is about 8,000 meters tall, and the temperatures there drop to negative 41 degrees Celsius. To climb that mountain, someone's got to be at least 163 centimeters and no less than 50 kilograms. Crickets. Works every time. You guys can't do conversions. You need conversion therapy. Especially you, my gay friend. Some autistic person just fell in love here. When my husband was helping me write that joke, he said, make that person an average height, like 5 or 6 meters. You guys have no clue. That's about 16 feet. All right, let's see. Some people think because I'm cute, I married a rich white guy. The truth is, I married a white guy who looks like he's rich.
Potato.
Thank you, guys. I'm Hind Deer. Have a good day.
All right, so that was the stand-up routine. I'll come back to it later, but there's maybe a joke there that you guys have a hard time, don't really understand. It's the conversion therapy joke. So
That's I think conversion therapy is still being done in the Middle East. I was watching a podcast that interviewed a gay person. Of course, he's unanimous. He's from Saudi Arabia. Not that I'm saying there are no gay people in Iraq or anywhere else. I mean, there's gay people everywhere in the Middle East, obviously, but they're in the closets. Anyway, he's doing conversion therapy. That's what he said on the podcast, and he's trying his best. He was going from a therapist to a therapist to find the best therapist that will do the conversion therapy for him. And it looks like it's been working out for him. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe our conversion therapy it works. I don't know.
you'll see him on the news in the Middle East saying how he was cured, and then 10 years later he'll pop up. He'll be like in Switzerland living with his boyfriend, and
you know what?
Yeah.
I have a hard time. Like accepting that, to normalize it. To be honest, like as a Middle Eastern person, even though I'm considered liberal, in the Middle East, and I'm considered, kind of like open-minded and stuff like that. But I have a hard time accepting normalizing the LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah, I
To be
understand.
honest with you,
That's why we'll talk about. Oh, real fast too. There was a couple of jokes we had practiced, but Hind forgot them last night. So there was one joke. So the thing was potato, which is an American idiom, which means two things that are different words that mean the same thing. So the first part of the joke where she said, "You got any Trump fans here?" Yeah, and then of course nobody's going to cheer because it's a comedy club in a big city where everyone is not a fan of Republicans. She's going to say, "I'm still learning the culture." Then she's supposed to point at someone, especially somebody that does not look like a Trump fan. You
I
point
was
at them.
gonna say, are you a big Trump fan or a small Trump fan? And whatever they would say, I was gonna say potato.
Yeah,
but I forgot that joke.
More than likely, they're going to say something like, "I'm not a Trump fan at all," and then we'll go potato.
But you know what, guys? When you're a comedian, especially when you're in your beginnings, which I am, you get nervous on the stage, no matter how famous you are, and like no matter how famous you've been before, or like I don't know, like on the stage, everything is dark except on your eyes. There are lights coming at your eyes. This is how it felt like. So kind of nervousing, but people do it. Like these comedians do it all the time. That's why they feel comfortable on the stage, and that's the plan for us. We intend to do it every week. So
We'll keep writing jokes too.
yeah, we get good at it. Before we move on, can I reply to some
Yes.
comments on Instagram? People on Instagram are wondering if this episode is recorded or if it's live. And I would like to tell them it's live. Actually, one of the people is responding to them on Instagram and telling them it's actually live. And these are one of the few people that would reply to your comments and interact with you. So that's very true. I'm sorry we're not speaking in Arabic. These comments are in Arabic. I'm reading them in Arabic and translating them. But if you guys speak English, you're welcome to call. Or if you want to speak Arabic with us, you're welcome to call us on WhatsApp. It's a free phone call. You're not going to end up paying a huge bill if you call us. So that's the phone number. It's going to be 614. I'm writing down the number for you. 332-2811. You can call us on WhatsApp. Let me put that comment. All right, what else you got ready, babe?
So we can just kind of talk about the topic for today. So being gay. I know this is a controversial topic too in the Middle East. Like Middle Eastern people do have a hard time with it. In fact, usually when it comes to Palestine, there's groups like Queers for Palestine, and people like to point out things like that group would be in a lot of trouble if they were in Palestine acting this way. And there's some truth to that, but there's also, there's variations.
You know what? Palestinians, when Palestinians were asked, like random Palestinians on the street, when they were asked, what do you think of that? Queers are supporting you. They would say, we welcome any support wherever it's coming from. We just are desperate for support. We're desperate for people supporting us. We appreciate it no matter who the person is.
Yeah, the whole point of trying to point that stuff out too was because one side is trying to dehumanize the other side. And so they basically say how barbaric they are by not accepting these people. But at the same time, usually these are people Americans who are very conservative that will say that group is not friendly to gay people. At the same time, they're not friendly to gay people either. They just think that people who are more moderate, more liberal will hear that and think, oh, okay, those are not nice people. That's the whole point, is to dehumanize them.
Dehumanize who?
Palestinians.
Oh, so they use that as an excuse to convince the gay people not to support Palestine, basically.
Well, they use it as an excuse to convince Westerners not to support Arabs or people in the Middle East who are Muslim. It's one of the biggest arguments people use in the West about Islam is that it's homophobic.
Yeah. You know what, babe? America was homophobic 20 years ago.
Yeah. So let me start this out by showing you just how like some people do act in the United States when it comes to gay people. This is an extreme version, but it's a good version.
No homos will ever be allowed on this church as long as I'm the pastor here. Never!
Tempe pastor preaching that God's word says that killing gay people is the only way to get rid of AIDS by Christmas.
I love the Bible. I love God's word. I believe that the law of the Lord is perfect. And, you know, Leviticus 20:13 clearly says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with the woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And, you know, as a Christian, I believe the Bible, and that's where I get my belief.
Westboro Church is based in Topeka, Kansas. The church has gained notoriety for protesting funerals of soldiers, often holding signs reading things like, "Thank God for dead soldiers," claiming the deaths are God's punishment for immorality and tolerance for homosexuality and abortion.
There are people in the West that do not like gay people, and they see it as evil, and even crazy enough that they think that these people should be sentenced to death. So how did America get the way it is, and how did it go from kind of more extreme to more liberal towards these people?
So, so these people are basically anti-gay, right?
Yeah.
Was how long ago was this acceptable? Well, how long ago these videos are?
These videos, I probably within the last 20 years. These people would be considered very extreme. I think most people would not be comfortable with people with supporting
Even 20 years ago? Was it popular to be anti-gay 20 years ago in America?
I don't know if it was, no, not being anti-gay. I mean, being a bigot in the United States is not popular. You know, being bigot means, you know, judging people of different groups, like racism or sexism.
If these same people go on live TV today saying the same things that they're saying, how is that going to be taken?
I mean, most people will think it's very lowbrow, very like uncultured, very prejudiced. It's unattractive. I think that, so you'll see, I'll kind of walk you through it, how the views have changed. But in general, I think most Americans are not going to hate somebody for being gay, or necessarily even judge them for being gay, but some people still would. But I think even what most people today would talk about is like, hey, what is appropriate to do in front of children, or what's an appropriate way to carry yourself in public, not necessarily who do you sleep with when nobody's looking. Like the truth is, like, how many friends do you have where you judge them solely on who they had intercourse with the night before? Like, have you ever had a friend?
You know what, babe? I mean, like, I'm gonna stop calling you babe on show. Brandon, you know what, Brandon?
Yeah.
There's a lot of correlations of being gay and being a sexual deviant or being a pervert. There is a correlation of these things. There is a correlation of you being gay, raping young boys, you know? So these thoughts will not come from nothing.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if you said the correlations, they're really anecdotal evidence. But, you know, you're from the Middle East, and you guys see this differently. So how did the U.S. change? A lot of things changed in the U.S. after World War II. After World War II, a lot of people became middle class, and life became much easier. And with an easier life, people became more self-aware. So you have this thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this.
So
this is what a human being needs to.
Is this created by some person named Maslow?
Yes.
And he created these hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, and I think generally speaking, this is pretty accurate. This is for all human beings. So at the very bottom, you need your physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. Survival, basic survival. Once your basic survival needs are met, then you consider things like safety, personal security, employment, resources, health, property. Once you have those things met, Then you look for love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Once you have those things, the next thing you look for is esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, freedom. And at the very, very top, you have self-actualization. So there's a reason why people that come from really good, prestigious families are politicians. They have all these needs met, and they're always trying to become the best version of themselves. So it's very normal. To be honest, a big reason why Americans might seem so weird to the rest of the world is because there's so many people here that are in search of self-actualization, because it's such an easy place to live and such a safe place to live. And I don't mean that there's not school shootings or crime, but in general, nobody's going to invade the United States. There's not going to be any mass violence or anything. It's just a stable place. It's predictable. You know that your borders aren't going to shift on you, or you're not going to have to learn a new language.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways,
although like this is not related, but they're talking about California being a different country. Did you hear that? It was proposed.
They're always proposing that kind of stuff. I don't, whatever. California is basically
its own country, yeah, but it's gonna be like America and California now.
No,
no,
it won't.
Scary. Anyway, yeah. As you said, America, no one invades it. It gets all the resources from the world. It gets our oil, our gas.
Well, United States is oil independent.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about that, but it gets like a lot of world resources and pours it into own people. That's why the people became more on that hierarchy of needs. They've gone up because they don't have a lot to worry about in terms of getting water, food, or shelter. That's all provided.
Yeah.
And then when they reach that level, esteem, if they are gay in the inside, they want to come out of the closet at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in 1948, there was a book released called Sexual Behavior in the Human Male. And in that book, they surveyed people. They found that 37% of men surveyed had said that they had at least one homosexual experience in their life. And that...
How many percent?
Like 37%.
37% of males had one sexual intercourse with a man?
Sexual intimacy. It could be, I don't know if it's intercourse, but homosexual act.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah?
Like all the men I knew in my life, including family, 37% of them have been with a man.
This is American. This is America in the 1940s. So I doubt it doesn't necessarily apply. But what it's saying, the point is, well, let me finish. 10% of men said they were more or less exclusively homosexual. What the survey showed is that homosexuality was much more prevalent in society than what people wanted to believe, because there's always been the debate about whether people who are gay are sexual deviants, whether there's something wrong with them, whether they can change. For example, over the years, the APA has had different definitions for being gay. So, for example, in 1952, the APA said homosexuality was a sociopathic personality disturbance. And then in 1973, they declassified homosexuality as a mental disorder. And then in 1980, they classified transgender people as having a gender identity disorder. And in 2013, the APA eliminated the term gender identity disorder, which they considered stigmatizing, and instead referred to it as gender dysphoria. So the ways people look at it has changed over the years.
Someone is commenting on Instagram, 73%. Oh, ew, that's disgusting. I want to clarify, it's 37%, not 73%. And then she borrowed on Instagram, and she went ahead and commented, ew, that means Americans are dirty.
I think that you're going to find that the rate of homosexuality is the same across all racial groups. So even in the Middle East, there's a lot. We'll get to it. There's a lot of closeted gay people, and by the end of this podcast, you'll know how to spot them. So
it's called gaydaring, radaring.
yeah. So anyways, there was always pushback too. So like there was always people trying to get gay rights in the U.S. and there was always pushback. There was something in the 1950s. There was a politician named Joseph McCarthy, and he's considered a pretty vile person. He destroyed a lot of people's lives for his political gain. But that's when the United States was in a Cold War with the Soviet Union, and McCarthyism.
McCarthy gay?
If he was gay, it was a
Look, who was he? A politician who's a really bad person? Is that
So
what you're saying?
McCarthy was a politician that basically started a witch hunt in the 1950s, just saying that
Witch hunt.
a witch hunt.
So like witchcraft.
No, witch hunt is like a term where like you're going after people. It's just a term for witch hunt. Let me give you the best example.
All right.
Right.
Someone on Instagram is commenting. Please give us your personal opinion of gay or of homosexuality. And then someone on YouTube is commenting. Have you all watched the Grammys Lamau? Grammys Lamau? What is that? Do you know anything about
LMAO.
Grammys?
Laughing my.
Oh, LMAO.
Yeah.
Grammys. What is Grammys?
It's like a award for. It's like a TV or music award. It's an award for performers.
All right. What's with the Grammys, Zio?
Apparently, we haven't
Zeus.
watched it. So
We haven't watched it. Tell us what's new.
a witch hunt is a witch purge. Is a search for people who have been labeled witches or in search of evidence of witchcraft. So they're not witches, but these are people that are basically being accused of something, labeled something that they're probably not. So anyways, going after people and accusing them of something that they're not really guilty of to try to hurt them.
So that term is called witch hunt when you go and accuse people of something that they're not.
In mass,
Just because you hate them.
Or something, whatever your reason is. So a lot of people would be accused at that time of being a communist because we were in the Cold War with the Soviet Union, and there was something called the Lavender Scare where he started going after people too for being homosexuals, saying that communists and homosexuals were natural allies. And in 1953, President Eisenhower passed a law that barred all homosexual people from having jobs as federal employees. It got to the point where about 60 people a month were losing their jobs as federal workers.
How many?
Up to 60 people a month.
From federal agencies?
Yeah.
Like important people?
I mean, all stratospheres.
Okay, for being gay.
Yes.
What year was that?
Well, that was in the 1950s.
Oh, okay. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, and let's see, what else? Also, we used to have state laws that would ban sodomy. We also had state laws that banned miscegenation. So it used to be against the law in some states in the U.S. to marry someone from a different ethnic background. So like a black person couldn't marry a white person.
When did that end?
Probably around the same period, but we'll
In
get
the
there.
50s?
No, in the maybe the 60s.
60s.
Late 60s.
So before that, you couldn't marry an immigrant, basically.
I don't think I'd be allowed to marry you.
But I know people who are old enough that their parents gave birth to them before that. How did that work? Who are a product of two different races.
This is only certain states too. I don't know which even states had miscegenation laws. I can look it up.
Okay, I mean, my friend is from California. She's half Filipino, half white.
Which states
She's
had
born in the
miscegenation laws?
early 50s.
It's like most things in this period. It was the Deep South. So.
Oh, so all right. In the Deep South, you couldn't marry someone from a different race. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, the Deep South, Nazi Germany, when they were trying to write their racial laws, they looked at the American South to get ideas about how to make racism the law of the land. So that's the United States was in a civil war one time. That was the area that was trying to break away, that had slaves. It has a little bit of a reputation as being more backwards. I think probably it's not so much like that now. Some places are really nice down south. But anyways, that's just a little bit about the U.S. So we had all that stuff going on in the 1950s. And then, of course, in the 60s, you had the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was a huge catalyst for change. So now you have people that are sort of more comfortable. They're maybe on the path towards self-actualization. And then you have something like the Vietnam War, which really traumatized society.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, that's when you had a lot of things start to change. So you had sexual revolutions, you had cultural revolutions, you had civil rights revolutions. There was things were
A
really
lot of
changing.
revolutions around that time.
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
When your mom was growing up, that's the period.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she told me I grew up around like a lot of change and a lot of revolutions. Also, because that's the same time as the war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of today. Like today, there's a lot of change because the war in Gaza. It's still coming. It's not happening yet. But the young people are like having revolutions to change, and like we're ahead of like some big change, but we don't know whether it's going to be a good change or a bad change. Anyway, so around that revolutionary period, people progressed really fast.
No,
Is that
they didn't,
how you would
they didn't necessarily
describe it?
progress really fast. This is just like as society is slowly shifting. There were a couple of things during the 60s where the police went into gay bars and attacked people and caused a couple different riots. I think.
That's in the 60s?
Yeah, there was a Black Cat Tavern in 1967 and Stonewall Inn in 1969. These are pretty well-known incidents that people look at when they're talking about the progression of gay rights. But yeah, during the 1970s, there were gay activist groups that grew. This is also around the time, the 80s is when HIV was
Released into the population from a secret lab.
It's when HIV came about. And then you have a lot of change starting in the 1990s. So in the 1990s, first you have Bill Clinton, that was a president, and he was passing a new law called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So before that, if you were gay, you could not serve in the military. And they didn't want to let gay people in the military, so they made a law called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That means you can be gay, you just can't be openly gay, and you're not allowed to ask someone if they're gay. So a recruiter cannot ask someone whether they're gay who's joining the military. But if you decide to tell people that you're gay and they discover you're gay, you can be kicked out of the military. And people were kicked out of the military. You also had a couple big events that happened. You had a transgender person in 1993 named Brandon Tina. He was raped and murdered in Nebraska. And then you had another case in 1998 with someone named Matthew Shepard, who was a University of Wyoming student who was tortured, beaten, and left for dead. And it was really big news. And these are the two events that led to the hate crime legislation. So if you've ever heard of something called a hate crime in the United States, have you heard of a hate crime?
So talk to us more about these people. These people were gay?
Yeah, they were
They
gay.
were beaten and killed for being gay. So it's a hate crime.
The term hate crime, though, didn't exist at the time when they were killed.
Oh, after they were killed, they created the term hate crime to punish anyone who kills in the name of hate.
In the name of hate, it's for like if you belong to a certain like.
To punish anyone who kills someone belonging to a certain group, just for the reason, solely for the reason of belonging to that group.
Correct.
It's a live stream. People on Instagram are asking if it's a live stream. We're coming back to your comments, and we're reading your comments in a little bit after we're done with discussing the gay stuff. So bear with us, and on YouTube too. People on YouTube, bear with us. We're gonna read your comments, but this is a live stream. Go ahead.
Okay, so anyways, during the 1990s, also that's when society really started talking about the gay question. So
1990s.
In the 90s, there's a lot of like talk shows were popular then. You used to watch some talk shows in the Middle East, right? Like Maury Povich and stuff.
Yeah, but I never watched a gay talk show.
They probably didn't play it in the Middle East.
Yeah, that was super haram, taboo.
So
I mean, it is still taboo.
Let me show you some clips from talk shows in the 90s of just people talking about it so you can kind of see. And this was all the time, these questions that were asked. People were they were wondering like how everything you guys asked now.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for agreeing to do this today.
Thank you.
Steve, at what time of your life did you feel like you were different? Like did you feel like maybe you weren't like some of the other guys?
I knew that I was different from the time that I was about 3.
And I was really shocked that out of our data, the father and mother did not loom large.
All right,
it was hard.
Let me just get some quickies here. I
Sure.
know this is complicated, but we've got a lot to do here. Let me just make sure I got you straight. Daddy cannot make his baby boy a gay person.
Daddy cannot make his boy a gay person.
Grow up to be a gay person.
Bigger issue here is not the nature-nurture issue, but what about the civil rights and civil liberties of homosexual people?
Which is inherent throughout all of created things, that the male-female mates together and reproduces and makes after its species. And there isn't any such species homosexually. So therefore, I think it's beneficial to help people realize the truth.
Okay.
I didn't play Army, and when I was a swimmer, competitive swimmer for 12 years. I was incredibly involved in extracurricular activities from 5th grade on.
Same here.
Class leader, the whole 9 yards. But
I come from a country, we don't have a lot of, it's only just been brought out, homosexuality.
What country was that?
New Zealand. A lot
You don't have any gay people in New Zealand?
We do, but it's not out in the open.
Homosexuality hurts the person, and it also hurts society.
I agree.
So I have decided that it's better to call people to that principle.
I believe that it has to be mostly genetic, too, because these guys wouldn't put themselves through that. I mean, it's no fun being against the norm.
Yes, but just
it's not fun for you guys to be standing there and everybody's going, you're gay.
Let me ask. So I used to dress up my brother and put little wigs on him because I wanted a sister. I pray to God he's not gay. Maybe in the past life you were a woman. You don't know, who am I? You know, you guys...
I'm not blaming God. I'm not blaming anybody.
Can you imagine what it would be like to find the perfect person? Someone who fit every idea of who you've been dreaming of. My guests today believe they'd found that person. That is, until they found out that that person was gay.
I got queer, and they told me that they were going to disown me.
Rejected loved ones face their unaccepting families.
You're pretty upset about your dad. What's bothering you? The fact that he is gay.
He just doesn't accept it at all.
I don't like him sleeping with men.
Is there a happy medium?
I asked them to give it a chance. It embarrasses me.
Will there be tolerance or just more tears for these broken families?
We take a look inside.
Okay, so this was all the time in the 90s, and people asked a lot of questions with being gay. Now, conversion therapy was a big thing that we were talking about earlier. So the conversion therapy joke. So that was a big thing. A lot of, especially religious families, when they found out their kids were gay, they would send them to something called conversion therapy. And that may be a place where you go and you live or you stay. It could be a summer camp where their whole idea is they're going to
convert you into a straight person.
Yeah, they're going to de-gay you.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea, babe. Like, Brandon, like, if I was gay, I would probably want to be converted.
So that's the reason, is that because it's so hard to be gay, especially when it's not accepted. So it's really hard on people. And a lot of people wanted to be straight, so they would try to figure out how to be straight. And a lot of these people that do conversion therapy, they are those people. They're usually gay people that really, really want to not be gay, and they're trying really, really, really hard. And then, here's a little bit about conversion therapy.
A disturbing practice. Parents worry that their children might be gay, sending them to programs promising to change their child's sexual orientation. Their methods can range from simply controversial to extremely cruel.
Taught that homosexuality was caused as a result of family dysfunction, as a result of sexual abuse. We taught that homosexuality was a product of brokenness.
Were you qualified to preach same-sex attraction therapy?
As Christian leaders, we believed that we had the authority of the Bible. We did not admit or come to grips with how deeply harmful it is when you start working with someone's psyche.
That was a person who ran in gay conversion therapy, and later came out and said that it doesn't work, and now he lives, I think, with his boyfriend in Europe, and he's just basically showing contrition for what he did, which he believed it was a mistake. So that's a lot of people that had gay conversion therapy. They were never changed. I don't know if anyone has been changed. I could be wrong. I don't know.
That's what you believe.
Yeah. This is how Americans look at it now. So this is, everybody kind of gets this joke.
Is that with the power of Jesus Christ, you can be normal. Now, just to make sure you don't slip up while in camp, we assign every camper an accountability buddy. Let's meet Ryan, your accountability buddy. Ryan thought he could never change, but now he's learning that with the power of Christ and prayer, he can have a whole new life. Over this way, we have the cafeteria.
I think this is a mocking of God. If if you're gay, you want to be straight, you really, really badly want to be straight, and you want God to help you, and you pray, and you do everything in your power, why should you like give up hope, you know? I think God can give you what you want if you really want it. You really want to become straight, and you really want to become accepted, and you don't want to be gay, and you hate being gay. Like, I don't know, like you work hard for it, you find a good therapist. Like, why do we have to believe it's impossible?
Well, that's what I'm walking you through right now. Like, I don't know if it is impossible. What I'm saying is that it doesn't seem like anybody can not be gay. You know, it's just that that's how they are. That's
what they tell you in the media.
No. That's why I'm walking through everything. So, and then what really got things moving was.
So hold on, we are in the 90s right now.
Now the turn of the
century.
century.
90s.
Now we're in the 2000s.
People are saying, in the 2000s, people started doing conversion therapy.
No. Conversion therapy was all along, but now we're talking about how things are changing. So.
When did conversion therapy proved that it's not working?
I think that people really started seeing that it was not good in the 90s, and definitely by the 2000s, most people understood that it was a bad idea or doesn't work. So that
news anchor was in the 2000s, early 2000s, you think?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's when they were still doing conversion therapy, but...
I mean, I'm sure there's still conversion therapy going on. I don't know. I don't know anyone in conversion therapy, but... It just doesn't seem...
But you think it's very bigoted to say that conversion therapy doesn't work at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that bigoted. I mean, you could be... it seems like what you're trying to say is like, it's a very generalized blank statement.
Yeah, it's like vaccines don't cause autism. Altogether don't cause autism. Like, that's a general statement that's like not proven right, you know? And same with conversion therapy. It's really hard to prove something is negative in science in general.
So I'm not saying that it's not right. What I'm saying is that it seemed to have caused more harm than good. It gave a lot of people really bad PTSD and, people that when they're trying to change. But anyways, so that's just a thing. That's what conversion therapy is. I'm just showing you as a society in the West, we had lots of people trying to answer the gay question.
Okay, so in the early 2000s, people still had faith in the conversion therapy. Then, are we in the 2000s now?
Yeah, we're in the 2000s.
Go ahead.
Okay,
what happened in the 2000s?
What happened in the 2000s was George W. Bush. You guys ever heard of him?
Yeah, he invaded our country. Thank you, Bush. We love you so much.
Congress to pass it and send it to the states for ratification. Marriage.
What he was talking about was an amendment to the Constitution. So what George Bush wanted to do, because at this point, the question of gay marriage was becoming a thing. So they were trying to add a constitutional amendment that would ban gay marriage. Now, George Bush was not anti-gay, and most Republicans were not anti-gay. But what they were doing is the same thing Trump is doing now with immigration. They were finding an issue that their base could get excited about. You get your base excited, they all vote on election day.
Oh.
So it's the same thing.
That's the game.
Yeah. Like I told you, with politics, don't get too invested in anything they're talking about. It will change. It's going to be some major issue. So when they're talking about trans people today, it was immigrants the day before, and it's gay people before that. It's always just something to get people excited about.
Okay, so the enemy in Bush's time was gay people.
Not the enemy, but that was definitely when marriage...
The bad guy.
Gay marriage. It was talking
gay
about gay marriage.
Was the bad guy.
Yeah, kind
of. And then did September 11 come after that and Muslims became the new bad guy?
Yeah, basically.
All right. I'm just trying to understand like how the game is played. So first it was with the bad guy, gay marriages, and then Muslims, and then now it's immigrants, right? Was there a bad guy in between?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh, the LGBTQ was the bad guy, and now it's the new era of immigration bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, at one point it was African Americans, and then at one point it was Irish Americans or Catholics. It's always a bad guy that people use to get votes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dark side of democracy. Okay, so then what really changed though? So first of all, that would have been the first time the Constitution was used to prevent freedom. Right now, the Constitution creates freedom, but they wanted to use it to prevent freedom. And I don't think they were seriously thinking that law would even pass. It was just to get people worked up about it. And at that time, you did have a lot of states passing constitutional bans on gay marriage.
Did it pass on the federal level?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it didn't pass. And then here's what really happened. Slowly, little by little, we started seeing the people who were anti-gay, the ones that really built a career around talking against gay people and gay rights. It turns out a lot of them are not just closet homosexuals, but they are actual sexual deviants and sometimes drug addicts. And let me just show you a list upon list of people. First one, we're going to talk about Pastor Ted Haggard. This is not just a pastor. This is someone who had regular calls with the President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to debate about what we should think about homosexual activity. It's written in the Bible.
Haggard was one of the top evangelical preachers. Big church, 14,000 members. But in 2006, a male prostitute accused Haggard of paying him for sex and using crystal meth.
Ted Haggard was highly influential within the evangelical Christian community.
Pastor Ted, you're a very intelligent man.
Oh, well, thank you.
They fear you. Yes. They don't want you in the government.
I'll be talking to the White House in another 3.5 hours.
They reach out to you?
Yes.
The FBI now says it's examining former
Next
Republican
person.
Congressman Mark Foley's exchanges with teenagers to see if they violated any federal law. The Florida Republican resigned last week after he was confronted with some of the lurid electronic messages he allegedly sent to teenage boys.
Another big story involves one of Idaho's most powerful politicians,
Senator Larry?
longtime U.S.
Larry
Senator
Craig.
Larry Craig. Today, a Washington, D.C. political newspaper broke the story that Senator Craig was arrested in June in a Minneapolis airport bathroom for lewd conduct.
A spokesman for Senator Larry Craig is calling the incident a he said misunderstanding.
George Allen Reckers, he is a Baptist minister. In fact, he's one of the most prominent anti-gay
so much younger, huh?
in the country.
Yeah.
Can you already see where this is going? He's had advisory roles with Congress, the White House, Department of Health and Human Services. He's advised Florida on their gay adoption ban. And he's spoken on many issues, how to cure gays, how to make sure that gays don't adopt anybody because it's unacceptable and unchristian, etc. So, and here we go. New Times in Miami has broken a story about his travel companion, a young gentleman he met on rentboy.com.
Start with Tom Brock. He is a Lutheran pastor who has been very open about how much he hates the evangelical Lutheran Church in America because they support homosexuals and they have a very liberal policy toward homosexual pastors.
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, these gays, I mean, they're going to be pastors? Come on, get out of here, man. Outrageous. Anybody who's remotely gay should definitely be kicked out of the church.
Well, it turns out that a gay publication known as Lavender did this undercover report where they attended Faith in Action meetings, which are meetings that help make homosexuals straight.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Brock attended those meetings.
Of course! Of course! Of course! How many times does it have to happen? Okay, if they are virulently anti-gay, it is a near guarantee that they're gay.
This is an American pastor from Indiana who leads a church that, of course, preaches that same-sex marriage is sinful. He has been arrested after he allegedly grabbed and squeezed a man's genitals before requesting oral sex from him. His name is Gaylord Williams.
Reverend Matthew McKella is someone who has been on the record speaking out against gay rights, okay? He is actually a reverend who is very well known for being against the gay community, against marriage equality. And so it was a little strange when he was found to be an active user on Grindr, which is a dating app for gay individuals.
All right, guys. So here's the thing. As a society, we went through all these progressions, and because America's an open society, we had all these questions and we talked about them. And then over time, people just saw like, okay, if somebody's gay, they're not choosing to be gay. It's just the way they are. And then you saw the people that really wanted to bully them were actually hypocrites. And people just got tired of it. They got to the point where, you know what? Their life is you don't have to make their life worse. It doesn't make your life better to be mean to someone, to judge someone. If you don't want
to... So are you saying these pastors became sexual deviants as a result of being rejected by society?
No, they're sexual deviants in that they're paying for prostitutes and using
Wouldn't
drugs.
they be sexual deviants anyway if we're nice or not nice to gay people?
I don't know what that. Huh? Maybe I don't know. Like that's not the point. The point is that the people that were loudly anti-gay all turned out to be not just gay, but having gay interactions with people. So
yeah, they're using this to hide their gayness.
Yeah, hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, if you know someone who is loudly anti-gay, they're probably
gay,
very, very gay. This is old cultures, so it's just the way it is. You see the same thing with pedophiles. A lot of times, pedophiles will try to hide that they're a pedophile by
like I had
doing things with children. So, anyways, that's just kind of how it came to be the way it is in the United States. In 2003, sodomy laws were overturned in Lawrence v. Texas.
What law? The change to the Constitution?
The Supreme Court ruled that it's unconstitutional to make sodomy a crime.
That was in 2003.
Yeah.
So being gay stopped being a crime in 2003 in America.
No. Being gay and sodomy are two separate things. Being gay is gay. Sodomy is...
having sex with a person of the same...
No, it's having intercourse, anal intercourse.
Okay. It's basically almost the same. Like acting upon your gayness became legalized in 2003.
I mean, it could be a married couple. It could be a man to a woman. Everyone has a whole.
Oh, so anal sex, whoever it's done to, was illegal prior to 2003.
In some states. I don't know if it was enforced.
Okay.
But so anyways, and then in 2015, the Supreme Court ruled that banning gay marriage or something was unconstitutional. So that made gay marriage legal across the United States. And that's just kind of where we're at now. So I think most Americans will look at it as you choose to be you.
In 2013, they made gay marriage legal.
2015.
15.
Yeah.
That's when gay marriage was legalized. I remember that. I was here.
Yeah.
Was it in Obama's times?
Yeah, that was towards the end of it, I think. So anyways, any comments from people?
Yeah. Someone is saying, I love you. I miss you. Love you. You and your husband. I loved you both. And I was watching you when I was young. That's Mimi on YouTube. Thank you, Mimi. And someone is saying, can you all talk about how a huge amount of gay people are P3S?
What's a P3S?
I don't know.
I don't know what a P3S is.
All right, let's see Instagram here.
Yeah.
Are they against homosexuality because of religion or for other reasons? I think she's talking about how America was against homosexuality. These people, what is their motive? Why
That's actually
are they going against it?
That's a really good question, because really what it came down to is religion. Because at the end of the day, most people would say, well, I have no problem with it, but the Bible says it's a sin. And so that was the ultimate question. Now, first of all, you can't legislate based on someone's religious belief. Like, you guys don't want to live in a theocracy, I would assume, but you have to have an argument, a secular argument, to make something legal or illegal. But most people decided, hey, if you believe it's a sin, believe it's a sin. If I believe it's a sin, I believe it's a sin. But it doesn't mean that you can't leave someone alone. It doesn't mean that someone can't live their own life. You know, like, even when people from the Middle East come to the United States, there's gay people all over the place. You know, do you run up to them and point and say, hey, stop doing what you're doing? Or you just live and interact with them? Yeah. Honestly, like, probably gay people are really nice to Arabs because they're used to being picked on. So usually, like, lefty liberal people are probably even nicer to Islamic people than conservative people in the U.S.
Yeah, maybe. Could be true. I tend to always attract conservative friends, the friends that go to the church, the friends that have a faith, you know, but because I look a lot like them and they look a lot like me, even though I'm not Christian. Never had a gay friend, but we have a gay person at the Zumba class who dances, and sometimes he teaches the class. He's very nice. He's very nice. He's nice to me. We encourage each other, you know, to dance and do Zumba moves. I don't think I have any problems interacting with gay people. The only problem I have if my son or my daughter came up to me and say, Mom, I think I'm gay, or Mom, I think I'm trans. I would have a really hard time with that. I haven't accepted that yet.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking to live in the United States, that's a realistic thing because they're going to feel comfortable doing that. I don't know. I mean, that's down the road. You don't know how society is going to be. But yeah, any Arab family, any Muslim family that moves to the United States and has kids here, you know, first of all, you may have gay children now, but they hide it. But they're less likely to hide it if they're born here and they grow up in the culture here. That's just a fact.
Yeah, people in the Middle East hide it.
So-
I have a family member that we think is gay, but never came out. We will never know if he's gay or not because that's a super, super taboo that he cannot do it.
Yeah, I know, and people are aware of that about the Middle East. Where do you think is what's the gayest Middle Eastern country? Lebanon?
Lebanon, of course, yeah. Lebanon and Israel, not the Palestinian side of Israel, the Jewish side of Israel, which is, we call it Palestine, by the way. But it doesn't matter who calls it what, it's that.
Oh, speaking of which, like, let's real fast. So what's going on with Gaza and the latest in Israel?
They just released 3 Israeli hostages.
Okay.
Males, all military people. They were dressed up in a military suit. And on the other side, they released more than 100 Palestinians. I'm not sure how many, like something like either 110 or 130, something like that. They released those hostages. About 10 of them were sentenced to life sentence. Life sentence, that means that they spent their whole life in prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, life sentence, 10 of them, and the rest of them are Gazans, actually, who were taken hostages during this war. So good times here for both people. We just hope every party follows through with what they said. I wish Palestinian people get the aid that they need, and especially people in the north. A lot of Palestinians went back to the north of Gaza to find that their homes were demolished, and these people really are in drastic need of aid, especially like tent building material or caravan or like trailers material for them to just live, you know.
Zio says it's either you accept all of them or hate all of them. I don't know if you have to have.
Zeus was commenting anti-gay comments. Like Zeus doesn't like gay people, and he's like either love all of them or hate all of them.
Yeah, I don't know why you have to have like such an extreme view. I mean, your life isn't affected by it either way. Even if you hate them or accept them, your life is unchanged.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should have any feelings, to be honest. Like, it's an extra headache you're adding to your life. But if, in my opinion, if in my children's classroom there is a LGBTQ flag in a first grader classroom, I will question that and I will fight against it. A child 6 years old or 7 years old doesn't need to know about all that thing. Maybe when they're older, maybe like when they're 18 years old, things need to be explained to them, and they can decide whether or not they want to be gay, or like whether or not they are gay, because, according to American standards, gay is you're born with it. But like a 6-year-old, why does a 6-year-old have to know about it? Why does the 6-year-old have to have conversations about it? I don't think that's a good idea. Read my earlier comments.
Okay, we'll see what your earlier comments were. So shout out to you. That was the Grammy one. We just didn't see the Grammys. I don't watch it too much, and Hind doesn't even know what the Grammys are. Can you say Perpoc? Perpoc.
I don't know what that means. Also, shout out to you and your husband. I was a really big fan, watched your videos since the end of 2016, and I have to tell you to keep up because you're an amazing person. Wish you all the best. Thank you, Zeus. Understand is gay right? Like, what are they? I mean, I don't care. Oh, she means she doesn't care about gay rights. What are they?
So I think when the U.S., when they talk about gay rights, it has to do with, can you be fired from a job for being gay? Or can you be denied a service for being gay? It's more like a protection. In the United States, you can't tell somebody, let's say I own a restaurant. You can't come to my restaurant and say, I will not serve you because you're an Arab. you can't do that. You can't discriminate against people based on these reasons. You can, I'm sure there's reasons you can discriminate. But anyways, and then it also has to do with marriage, marriage equality. So being married in the United States, like anywhere else, is a contract. And so there's a lot of benefits that come from that contract, you know, even be able to visit loved ones in a hospital, making, deciding things if someone's in an emergency room, or all these kind of things when it comes to inheritance and retirement and survival, just basic things of survival. So if you're gay and you want to marry another gay person, should you be able to have a life that's similar to a heterosexual couple? That's kind of what it comes down to. So as far as gay rights, it's just, it's mostly not necessarily like rights. It's just protecting against discrimination based on that fact. And some people are, you know, there's a lot of people who are gay that you would have no idea they're gay, but most people, you know, it's pretty obvious, you know. I've got good gaydar.
Me and Brandon sometimes use our gaydar to determine whether people are gay or not. But that gaydar doesn't seem to work with Europeans. Europeans look gay, even if they're straight. We had a European guy once, and we couldn't know if he's gay or he's just dressed nicely like Europeans.
Yeah, you always got to ask yourself, is that guy gay or is he just European? Let me show you I'll show you a video. This is a good example.
So want to go to a cool party and listen to some techno?
Yeah.
And after that we can hook up with some hot guys.
Yeah.
Want to go to a cool party and listen to some techno music?
Yeah.
And after that we can hook up with some hot girls.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's just like America's making fun of Europeans. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's going to be more people being openly gay in the Middle East anytime soon?
Let's see what people on Instagram say. Why is the broadcast closed? They closed it after an hour, but we opened it again. Someone's asking me not to blink a lot. Okay, I'll try. Someone's asking us to translate. I'm sorry, we don't have that service. Shakumaku. Someone's asking Shakumaku.
Shakumaku.
Brandon knows what that means. Shakumaku. Makushi. And someone's saying hi. Hi. And someone's saying I agree. I don't remember what we were saying. And then, this person actually was watching our podcast since the beginning. Its Instagram account is 1UGHL. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. He said, and I think that's a guy. He said, in Iraq, most of them are homophobic. They are not real homosexuals. They are not real homosexuals.
I understand. I get it.
Yeah, in my opinion, being openly gay in the Middle East will not be a thing due to religious purposes. It says haram in the Quran. And a lot of people follow that. And that's one of the set things.
Where do you think it would be more likely to become more accepted? Lebanon, Egypt? Do you think Egypt in some places?
I don't think so. Maybe in Lebanon. So it's already accepted in Lebanon and Beirut.
Yeah, doesn't Lebanon have gay clubs?
Yeah, I think so. It's accepted in Beirut, in the capital of Lebanon. That's the most liberal place you'll find in the Middle East. But South Lebanon is like religious Muslim Shia people who are, if you're gay, walk there in the streets. I'm not sure if you're gonna be safe. You know, depends where you are in Lebanon. But not sure if it's gonna be normalized, to be honest.
Okay.
It's super taboo. It's a set thing. It's a set thing. It's like a set thing. You can't change a set thing.
So let's, I guess we can move on to the next thing. Let's talk about the projects that we did recently. So we watched the stand-up comedy. We put a reel up this week. I thought it was funny. It did pretty well online, but so you can take someone like your wife or your pet or somebody who dies. You can have that dead person or animal turned into a diamond, and they're called memorial diamonds. So I thought to try to make a joke, like, what if you took a memorial diamond, and how you can make a joke of that. Let me just show you the reel we did.
And we made an Arabic version.
Yeah. These are Arabic subtitles.
You like it?
Yeah, it is so beautiful. Is this diamond real?
Oh, of course. I've got a certificate of authenticity. Have a look.
Oh, okay. Wow, what's this? Looks like the receipt.
How'd that get in there?
Not so fast. Let's see how much you spent. In receipt of Ashley Smith. Does this ring belong to an Ashley Smith?
No. It says in receipt of Ashley Smith's cremated remains. Cremated remains.
Who's Ashley Smith?
Nobody. Probably nobody. Maybe my ex.
So you gave me your ex's ring.
Technically, she is the ring, but nobody will notice a thing.
I'm not wearing your ex. I have so many questions. Why did you turn your ex into a ring?
You know, to bring closure, try getting her DNA now.
Wait, what?
I said try getting pee in a cow. I meant get the herpes cream. Wow, such a relief. Like the relief when Ashley's dog finally quits barking. Little devil nuts. Bark, 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 bark. Ah.
What did you do with her dogs?
I got you a matching set of earrings.
More puppies.
Ow, wow, wow.
Okay.
Open that.
So anyways, that turned into a horror show real fast. So that was the only one we did this week.
Mm-hmm.
So what projects you have coming up?
We have a Valentine's video. We think it's gonna be viral.
We're gonna start making that today. Actually, as soon as we get done with this, we're gonna move on to that. So I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all we have in the plan. That's all we really have in the works. We're not going to be able to do the next weekend. We're not going to be able to do live stream because we're going to be
out of town.
We'll be in Utah visiting my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we can do any live stuff there. So it will be 2 weeks until we're back. So hopefully we'll have some stuff done. Maybe we can do some stand-up comedy when we're in Utah too. We've got to write some more jokes.
Uh-huh.
We've got to come up with a whole set.
We got to do that. Want to read some comments? Yeah. I have on YouTube. Adian says, I love you, Hind. I love you too, Adian. Thank you for the nice comment. Also, Yomiyat Muhammad Rida said, hi, hi, ma'am. Hi, Muhammad. And Ra'id says, it's important to respect people's beliefs. I think that he's referring to the Middle East. It's important to respect that people don't accept it. I think that's what he meant.
Yeah, I don't think it's good to try to impose your values on another society. So I think it's wrong when the West tries to impose Western values on the Middle East. It doesn't go well.
That at some point they were that.
Well, it's also considering the hypocrisy now with the genocide in Gaza. I think the United States lost a lot of I think the United States lost all moral authority with what's gone on over the last year in Gaza, with 62,000 innocent people being ruthlessly murdered with United States bombs. It's really hard for the United States to turn around and say, hey, you guys need to be nicer to gay people. So.
Mm-hmm. Zeo says, I live in an Arabic country and you can see a lot of gays judging by their look and style. I think gay people being judged by their look. I think that's what she says. Probably. I don't know what she meant. Al-Han Sama says, Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam. Hi, how are you? And then Zeus says, never expected Hind Deer to be at the hashtag comedy. Yeah, I'm at the hashtag comedy club.
Have you been there? Where's that person?
She says she lives in an Arabic country, so I'm assuming not.
Oh, okay.
But she saw that on the background when I was doing my show. I think
okay.
So.
We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep coming up with jokes, and hopefully.
Ayn Zahra says hello, Hind. Hello, Ayn Zahra, and Al-Han Sama says, I know you have different subjects today, but I wanted to corrected something quick. I said about Trump. In your previous podcast, because you got me wrong about whether I hate or like Trump. I don't hate Trump. I hate his contradictory talking about different issues.
Yeah, well, we apologize if we got it wrong. I understand when it comes to politics, and
yeah, I think she called him arrogant and stuff like that, and I'm like,
yeah,
I said she has strong feelings about Trump. I didn't mean I'm sorry if I said you hate him. I didn't think you hate him.
Yeah, we were being glib. It was not
love you, Trump. We're trying to avoid being deported.
Yeah, but no, I get it. And then when it comes to politics, there's a lot of hypocrisy, and it's easy to get mad at someone over what they're saying. And I have strong opinions about things Trump does, but I don't hate Trump.
I have strong opinions about Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he sucks as a president.
Yeah.
He might be a good person otherwise. I don't know about him, but
I have no idea.
He led this country into basically war that's draining and inflation and a lot of crazy stuff, you know?
Yeah, but we should be more careful with how we say things, and especially when we're trying to interpret what you guys are saying. Again, we're doing this live, so we may say stuff that may come out slightly wrong, and it's just what happens when you talk
and it's not necessarily wrong to have strong feelings about someone, but we get your point. You hate his contradictory ideas, or she said, I mean, Trump contradicts himself. You hate that about him. You hate that dishonesty.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's hard to know what's going to happen right now with everything. So he looked like he's wanted peace in Gaza, and now he's talking like he's ready to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah, very, very disturbing. I want to see if there is a Instagram comment.
Sure.
No one's saying any.
It's quiet on there.
Yeah, it's quiet.
It's okay. So that's about. We could kind of gone through everything. Let's go watch a couple reels, and then unless anyone has anything else to add, we can wrap up. So let's just watch a couple reels to make it interesting for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to start with the theme song. Hold on.
Hind Deer. Weekly real picks. Super dope, super diggity dog dope.
Hind Deer's weekly real picks. So dope, super duper diggity double dog dope. Oh, mom, bruh, hob. Hind Deer's weekly real picks. So dope, super duper diggity double dog dope.
Okay, so why did it not turn off?
Oh, you gotta pause it. Yeah, there you go.
I have such troubles with Apple technology. All right, so let's see if you know what. I found this new person on Instagram. His name's Vasily, and it's all in Russian, but he's kind of funny. Let me show you his account. And if you speak Russian, maybe you can follow him or not. But he's entertaining.
Ебать тебе с ним быть. Я должна его найти. Где он? Адрес подскажу. Село Кижеватово, улица Овражная, 401. Только не ходи к нему. Несчастье тебя ждет.
Алена не послушала бабушку Нину и поехала на поиски мужа.
Женя, ты живой? Я думала, ты погиб.
Чего разорвался?
Женя, дорогой, кто там?
Да никто. Почту принесли. Тебе что надо? Ты мне вот поперек горла. Все, новая мне семья, вали отсюда.
Бабушка Нина, мой муж живой действительно, но мы разводимся. Не судьба он тебе. На, вот, смотай веревку. Хорошо. Бабушка Нина, а как вы адрес угадали? А бабушка не угадывает. Ей духи говорят. Вижу, тот, кто тебе за деньги поможет и чая попросит, тот и будет тебе судьбой. Только чаю обязательно дай.
Ну вот и все, кран готов. Извините, я сегодня не завтракал, может, чайком угостите? Спасибо вам.
Женя!
Аленка, давай все сначала начнем, а?
Извините, нет у нас чая. Муж вернулся.
Бабушка Нина, счастье
Anyways,
случилось.
I don't know what he's saying, but it looks funny. And he's got a lot of videos where he's like acting these characters. And it's kind of an interesting account. So if you speak Russian, I don't speak Russian and I'm still watching it.
Zayas is saying she's half Russian, or he. I don't know. It's a girl or boy. But
Yeah?
they're half Russian.
Do you speak Russian?
You speak Russian? Maybe some person understood that real.
Привет.
And translate for us if you do.
Yeah. We could put it through captions and see what they're saying, but
Mhm.
I just wanted to show that. I think I like people that make interesting reels. And then I've got this other one. Let me show you one last reel for the week, and then we'll check your comments. But I saw this one. I thought it was kind of silly. Kind of weird because, again, America's just kind of a weird country. And this is...
وشهد شاهد من أهلها. She's breastfeeding her cat.
On this airline, we do allow this as much as
No, but it's a cat. It's a cat. It's not a child. It's not a baby. It's a cat. Breastfeeding a cat.
He seems to think it's a
Cat. Baby.
Yeah, that's our baby.
No, it's I got a cat. She's breastfeeding a cat. It's disgusting.
Please, I'm asking you, just show me that you have a baby.
Go ahead, take the blanket off if you're that sure. He's filming you do this, by the way.
Yes, you gave him permission. He will take.
I never gave him permission.
You said go ahead and take the blanket off. So
It's a cat. It is a cat. I told you. I told you.
What?
She has a cat.
It's an emergency service animal, and it's a lynx, not a cat. There's a big difference.
There's a lynx. It's a lynx.
Oh, what is it? It's an emergency service emotional support animal.
Oh.
Oh.
I believe that's
Well, that's
part of the
allowed.
regulation.
Yeah, that's allowed.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I don't know if that was real or fake. What do you think?
Looks fake.
On this airline, we do allow this as
Okay, so lady's like breastfeeding a cat, but then it turns out to be a fake cat. So probably was fake.
Yeah, it looks like fake.
Any last minute comments? Let's see, everyone getting ready to wrap up. So if you've got anything else you want to share. Yes, Mr. Brandon, you're right. Before his winning, he said he wants to make peace in our lands in the Middle East, especially in Gaza, and America first. What is it now? So-called Israel first. I 100% agree. Honestly, I think most Americans agree with that. People are, and this is conservative people too, that think what's going on right now is wrong. I saw Candace Owens talking about it, and Candace Owens is a very conservative, right-leaning, pro-Christian social media influencer, and she said that she would never support this. She said, as a Christian, I would never support the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. So, I mean, there's a lot of strong opinions about it. I don't even know the words. Like, I hope that my country doesn't actually follow through with it and start ethnically cleansing Gaza. I don't understand how that could even happen, and I don't know. It's as bad as Nazi Germany in World War II. It's the worst thing that we could do as a country. If that happens, I'm horrified with my country and my president.
Yeah. Yeah, Trump wants to buy Gaza. Basically, like Trump wants America to buy Gaza and turn it into a Riviera of the Middle East, like a resort. And he wants half the people of Gaza gone to Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Jordan. I wonder if he did. I wonder why he didn't suggest that Israel takes them in, because that's the like the fair thing, you know. Like if anyone would take them, I would suggest that Israel takes them.
Yeah. Well, you know,
if they're really worried about these people and the women and the children being educated and stuff like that, that's what they're talking about. Like that's what they're saying. Then Israel must take them. Israel caused the destruction in Gaza. Israel takes them. Why should Egypt take them?
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So let's see what else becomes of face. It should be fake because. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I think that video is fake.
Yeah, the video.
Alhan Sama likes Candace Owens. She says, Candace Owens. Sorry, I don't mean to say you like her or dislike her. You just are saying she's right. She says, I think Candace Owens is right.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's about it. So hopefully hopefully between now and when we see you again, nothing too crazy happens in Gaza.
Yeah,
and
we'll be gone
pray for
next
everyone.
week, and we'll see you the week after. Hopefully, I can make good content out of my vacation to Brandon's grandma. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see, and hopefully, we make a comedy show there in Utah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being with us today.
I really appreciate it.
Have a great day.